Hi everyone, lovely wet day, and I'm very excited to be doing a book review on this book, The Rise and Fall of Dinosaurs by Steve Brusatte. Now, this is a book that I've seen on the bookshelves for a couple of years actually, and I really wanted to get it, so I bought it on impulse the other day, and I really enjoyed it. Yeah, I was raving about it. Then I read a couple of online reviews, and I thought, oh, yeah, actually, I mean, there were a few things I was kind of thinking about as I was reading it that I thought, maybe he's kind of going off on a tangent here or whatever. But no, look, okay, so I really liked it. I think the thing that it does really well, and it's the first book I've read, and I was so happy when I finally got a book that did this kind of thing. It links the evolution of life really well into the just what's going on geologically and atmospherically, and the effect of all of those changes with continental drift and just volcanism, and the change, I guess the bigger picture, the environment that life has to evolve in. It linked it really well, but very specifically talking about Pangea, or then when they broke up, the different land masses, and talking about specific life evolving in specific areas rather than just a general statement of this type of life evolved and then that type of life evolved. So it really linked it to time and place, and it did that very well. That's what I really liked about it. Now, the other thing where I was thinking, oh, hang on, he's going off on a tangent, but I actually enjoyed it. I don't know. So what he does, probably at least maybe 20% of the book, is him talking about other paleontologists. And what was really cool about that was he was talking about their personalities and character traits, not they've got such and such a, PhD or degree and, all of the boring stuff. It was them as human beings. And I actually quite liked that. Now, it was an insight into paleontologists and the whole scene or the world or whatever, I don't know. But probably because I've worked in a museum, I was kind of a little bit more open to the human side of those scientists. But some of the online reviews I was looking at last night were really putting the boot in for that. Now, I personally liked it, and I don't think he went overboard. I've read some books where heaps of it is about the history of how they found something rather than what they found, and rather than just the science arguing out itself, it's all about how it came to be. But so he kind of treaded a bit of a fine line. I don't think he ever went too far down that particular direction. But yeah, I kind of found it refreshing. But that does come at the expense of, there's certainly there would have been more about dinosaurs if you didn't put all of that kind of stuff in. So I kind of enjoyed that, but some people really didn't like it. So just be aware if you get this book that is in there. But I think for the good stuff it explained it so well. It was a very knowledgeable person. And he's written one on mammals as well, which I'd like to read, and I presume it might do the same thing. I mean, look, honestly, it probably would have been better if it didn't do that, if he just stuck just to the dinosaurs, and because he explains them really well, and the way they're linked to the environment around them, and, like I was saying, really getting into a time and a place. So, the good stuff is really good. The other stuff I quite liked, but some people hate it. So just be aware if you're going to read this book. That's a big part of it. So yeah, I like that, but it's not why I bought the book. So probably a thing on dinosaurs, as well described as he did, just sticking to dinosaurs, would value it even more. And from my point of view in Australia, I mean, one gripe, I think Australia's mentioned once in passing. There's basically nothing about our dinosaurs or fossil history here, and very little about Gondwana, actually. It's very North American focused, and Asia, and a little bit of Africa and Europe. So, and when I say Asia, I'm talking about China with the, the old bird stuff that's coming out of there now. But yeah, so look, I mean, that was disappointing, but I think in Australia we're used to that. Overseas books that don't really have much about us at all. So we find our own local sources. But I mean, so I wouldn't say then that it was a complete overview of all dinosaur development in the world. And I guess the other thing I didn't like too is that there's lots of times where he mentions individual dinosaurs, but a whole lot more illustrations would have been really useful, so we could picture them. I know he describes a certain body plan, and then gives a whole lot of instances of different dinosaurs that have been dug up that suit that, or fit that body plan. But I think more diagrams would have been useful. I mean, there are some photos and diagrams in here, but probably less than 5% of the dinosaurs that you hear about are actually illustrated. Maybe at a rough guess, I don't know. But so yeah, that wouldn't have hurt putting that in. But anyway, look, I recommend the book. Just be aware of what you're getting. The descriptions, the insight and the descriptions are really good. There's a whole chapter just about the evolution of birds, which for me personally, and obviously people on this channel, Bird Bites, it was really well written and really well explained. So yeah, I suppose maybe one thing he could have done is gone into a little bit of his scientific technique a bit more. He talks about how he would just analyze the traits of a whole lot of different fossils and then feed them into a cladistics program that would construct a phylogenetic tree. And it wouldn't hurt to actually show some of the data there. I mean, similar to, obviously it's not a scientific paper, but similar to what Jared Diamond was doing in Guns, Germs and Steel. Just put a little bit of your data in it, because then you're showing the evidence, not just your interpretation of the evidence, and it just kind of backs up your interpretation even more, I guess, or gives it more weight because people can see how you got it. But anyway, look, I like that. And Steve, if you ever see this review, which I doubt you ever will, I challenge you to do a phylogenetic tree of all your paleontologist friends, because you go into so much detail about their traits and also their particular takes on the different scientific controversies and ideas, and that I'm sure you can construct all sorts of different trees out of the relationships with them, or who taught whom, or that kind of thing. So anyway, I mean, that'd be a waste of time. It'd be fun. You might want to do that if you haven't already. But yeah, no, look, I quite liked it. I do recommend this book. You will learn a lot about dinosaurs, and you'll learn a lot about paleontologists as well. Yeah, particular individuals. So anyway, that's my review of this book. So if you've read it, or if you'd like to read it, leave some comments and thoughts. Okay, thanks guys. See you then. Bye.